then it seems like things are happening for someone of someone's conditioning in order to get things.
The body has a particular makeup, and the body-mind mechanisms are based on the principle of moving towards pleasure and moving away from pain. So when it's cold, it moves towards heat. When it's hungry, it moves towards food. When it's bored, it moves towards entertainment. So the body's based on this principle of moving towards pleasure. But this is the pleasure and pain are like a wheel. They just come and go. They're endless wheel going around. Pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure. In order to have the pleasure, you have to have the pain. In order to have the pain, you have to have the pleasure. It's like a never-ending circle. It doesn't get you anywhere.
They said the body goes for pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it sound like I'm a body going for pleasure.
No,
which
you aren't. You could say the body was, but you aren't, because who is inside that body? Where is that person that said those words, that can see the computer? Is that person inside a body? It's only inside a body in time, where the brain reports, I'm in here. My edge is my skin.
And you're saying that the placement of time has no relation to experience.
I don't know what you mean by the placement of time.
I mean, like the creation of things in time. So things being placed in time. So at the moment, I see my speech as being placed in time.
Yeah. But really, what's the actual reality of it? The way it appears is in time and cause and effect. So I speak and you can hear it. But what's the actual reality?
Actual reality of what? The speech?
Yeah. Is it happening?
It happens when I speak.
It seems to. It seems to. So we seem to be having a conversation.
I would testify to that.
Exactly, because where is that sound that's gone now? Where is this? You never have past and future. There is never past and future. There's stillness expressing as movement. The brain is ordering it into time, and really the brain and the world are the same thing, and makes it seem like something's happening. But in actuality, the essence of everything is movement and stillness, sound and silence, happening and not happening. But the brain and the separate self takes over and makes the brain interpretation, the time, the linear timeline, seem like the reality. And this instant disappears into timeline. This instant, what's actually happening, the freedom of what is forgotten about, is covered over. There's a freedom and a boundlessness that's so vast. And all the Buddhist teaching, I was originally into Buddhism, they used to say you've got to be in the moment, and it's not about you being in the moment, because who could possibly be in the moment? But it's all about what's happening. That is where the freedom is. The human thinks freedom is in something I get, and that's a never-ending circle. Appearances are always changing. Sorry?
You're saying happenings are outside of time.
Oh.
So you're saying things happen and they're not in time when they happen.
Yes, it's always the timelessness. And then the brain formulates time. Time is not a reality. To a dog, oh, where is she? Oh, there she is. I have to be careful that she doesn't go after the bunnies. To a dog, there's no time. Even though the body remembers at certain times it's walking, to Khaleesi, she doesn't have a world of time. She has a world of impulses. She has no idea about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. She has no idea from last moment to this moment. It's not a reality time. We made it up. It's not even us. These bodies created it. But then it creates a world which fits into the timeline. So it's like the world fits into space and time because that's what the brain's creating. But right here, there's a boundless freedom that's everything. And I can never say it correctly. I always contradict myself because everything we speak about is in that apparent timeline. But the reason why people are attracted to these talks is because when these words come out, they actually are just stillness expressing themselves. It's not somebody in time. And this is what we fall in love with. We're always falling in love with this stillness when it's expressed. We fall in love with it in music, because often when people are playing music, they forget themselves. They forget their world. In writing, in all sorts of art.
So you're saying that there's no time, there's no person.
There's an appearance of time and there's an appearance of a character, but they're not an actuality. The separate self takes that as fact. What is actual? What is real?
It's true, I'm tapping the glass.
but that's taking your brain to repeat. You can't see me, which is a shame, but your brain has had to repeat the hand moving away from the glass when the hand's on the glass to get that appearance of movement. That wouldn't be movement to a slug. That wouldn't be real to a slug. If you look through a slug brain. Because you can touch it, that makes it real. What else do you base it on, I know. What else is then that always is? There's something that's always present, that always is. What always is? It never leaves. Emotions leave, thoughts leave, objects leave. What else is there? Sensations, smells leave, thank God. Taste leaves. What doesn't leave? But this is where it's so tricky because we're used to looking at this and that. But it's there. You could run out of the street and scream. You could be in Lanzarote or America. You could be on a shuttle outside of space and it's still the same. Aliveness is still the same. But the person is always focusing on time and appearances. It's still the same. Anywhere you go, it's the same. Just looks different. It's just taken a different mask.
It just looks different.
It looks different, seemingly. But it doesn't really look different. When it's really seen, it's always the same.
Now I'm imagining some same thing that's been there all the time.
But that's a something. It's the same. Right here is the same as going outside. There's the same aliveness, just appearing in different forms. But the person is tricked by time. Me and object, me and something else.